Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Justice, and today we're going to be drawing some manga faces. We're just kind of drawing a random character with manga proportions. You know, larger eyes, little nose, little mouth, that kind of thing. Um, and yeah, normally I use a what's called a lead holder or a drafting pencil, and I usually use like a 2B softness graphite, either that or a 4B, depending on how I feel and what kind of paper I'm using. Right now, I'm working on it's just regular printer paper. I think it's 110 pound, 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You know, it's really standard printer paper. You could find it at Walmart. It's uh, pretty common. So as you can see, I am, doing the underdrawing. I try to erase as little as possible. I try to get as much information down on the page as I can. Um, and you'll notice that I use a lot of guidelines and, techniques that help keep everything in proportion. And I do this on every drawing, you know. And obviously this is more manga influence stylistically, but even if it weren't, if it were leaning more towards realism, I would still do the same techniques. I lay in the head, and then I separate the head, um, the upper and lower halves of the head, and then I put in the eye, nose, and mouth line, and I use that as a guide to figure out where everything goes. So we're just going to do a couple different sketches of the same character. Again, this is just a random character. This isn't anybody in particular. Um, but now I'll do a more of a medium shot, almost a full body, but certainly more of the body is in this sketch here. So I do the head, neck, rib cage. It goes down to the pelvis, and then I connect the rib cage and the pelvis together, and now I have sort of the center part of the figure established, and I can start adding in some of the arms and lower body as well. I find that breaking down the figure this way is the easiest for me because I'm able to see all the dimensions of the body. So when I break it down this way, I'm able to recognize the front facing plane of the figure and either side of the figure as well. So um, it keeps everything three dimensional, which is super important, of course. You know, when you're drawing, you want to keep, you want it to look three dimensional, um, though we are drawing on a two dimensional surface. So, yeah, this is normally how I approach the figure. It's important, I think, to keep things super expressive as much as you can um, when drawing in this style or when drawing manga. The great thing about cartooning is that it lends itself to exaggeration. It's not about mimicking reality. It's more about interpreting it and yeah, obviously exaggerating it. So I think it's cool to have fun and play around with proportion and expression and faces and bodies. So definitely keep that in mind when you're doing it as well. We're gonna do another face here. It's more of a close up again, and we'll do like a surprised expression, like she's seen or heard something that's it's good news. So she's excited. it's important to reduce. You know what I mean? Like keep it as simple as you can. Um, no matter what, really, less is more. And even if you have a more detailed approach, uh, try to simplify. Don't overcrowd it. I remember when I was in art school, I went to the Joe Kubert School years ago, and I was told by one of my instructors to think about. Well, first of all, she told me to slow down because apparently at the time I drew really quickly, and I didn't even realize it. So number one, she told me to slow down, and then secondly, she told me to think about every line that I put down on the paper, like actually sit and think about why I'm putting every line down on the page. And it seems really tedious when you think about it, but if you do that, which I did, you realize that sometimes you put down lines that don't describe anything. And so when you become aware of that, you become more efficient and you become more conservative with the lines that you put down. So I would encourage you or any artist to, if you want to improve and become more economic with your lines that you put down on your paper, to genuinely think about why you're putting a line down and what it describes. Don't just arbitrarily put down lines because you think it says detail. Um, we'll do one more up here in a profile side view. I think it can be kind of tricky to do side profiles. So keeping it simple is good once again. This is another example of the importance of separating the upper half of the skull and the lower half of the skull. If you notice, the nose and mouth seem to stick out further than the eyes and forehead and that area. So that circle or oval above the ear is important so that I know where the nose and mouth start and about where that line comes out and sticks out further than the rest of the head. So, yeah, just a little insight on my approach on how I break down and keep everything consistent when I'm drawing the figure. And there you go. Little look into my process there. A couple examples of sketches done in a manga style. So appreciate you guys hanging out. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.